Check this out. I don't know if you've ever watched a movie when you were younger that you absolutely loved, then watched it about 10 years later and had a different opinion about it. I did that just now. Quick backstory. This movie came out in 2006. I want to say I saw it around the same time. So Lil Baby was about 6th grade, 7th grade. I was a younger lad. The last time I remember crying during a movie was this movie, and I wanted to rewatch it, see where I felt about it. Lo and behold, it's on Netflix. The movie is Jet Li's Fearless, which you probably got that from the title. The movie takes place in like the 1900s, like the early 1900s. Movie starts. Lil Jet Li. Lil Jet Li. His dad owns a martial arts studio. They have servants. His dad doesn't want him to do martial arts. He wants him to study, be smart, make something of his life. Jet Li's like, fuck you, Dad. I want to do martial arts. It looks cool as shit. He just practices in secret. His best friend, who is basically like a brother to him, is like literally every day doing his homework so Lil Jet Li could practice his moves. His friend warns him, hey man, do your homework, you're gonna get in trouble. Your dad's gonna get mad. And Jet Li's like, I don't give a fuck, practicing my hand moves. And his friend's like, that's cool, man, but like calligraphy and shit. He's like, check this out, we're gonna go see my dad whoop this dude's ass. Well, Jet Li's friend is like, I mean, alright, I have no spine. So they go, there's like this fucking octagon in the center of this little town, and they just fucking fight. Because everyone's bored. It's the early 1900s. What else are you gonna do? He goes all the way up to the front, and this crowd of people to see his dad fight. He's so excited. Little does he know that the guy who his dad is fighting, his son's right next to him. And he's like, whoa, look who decided to show up. Are you ready to watch your dad get his ass kicked by my dad? Because that's what you do when you're kids. You're just like, I bet my dad's stronger than your dad, and you're like, no, and then, cause, whatever. So, they fight. Lil Jet Li's dad is kicking the other dude's ass. And then he sees Lil Jet Li, and he's like, oh, damn it, see, this is why I didn't want you around the martial arts and shit. The other dude punches him, and he flies off the octagon, and Lil Jet Li is like crying in a corner. And the dad's son, the one that was like, rah, 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 he's like, hey, little baby, why don't you get up and stop crying, because you're not a girl. Or whatever he says, something along those lines. Lil Jet Li is like, bring your little punk ass to the octagon, I'ma whoop it. They go to the octagon, dude kicks Lil Jet Li's ass, hard. Lil Jet Li is like, goes back home, and his dad is like, what the fuck, bro? Hey, one of my servants, one of the many servants that I have, go get my whip, I'm gonna beat the shit out of my son. And the wife is like, he's already fucked up, just let him like, go do calligraphy or some shit. And he's like, alright, go do calligraphy, you little bitch, don't let me catch you on the side of the street, or whatever, I don't know. His mom goes into his room, and his mom's like, hey, cut this shit out. And he's like, but I wanna fuck people up, so they're afraid of me. His mom's like, Wushu's not about that, it's about helping other people and feeling good about yourself and respect and shit. And he's like, get the fuck out of my room, Mom, I don't want to hear this shit. Bitch, bye. And then Lil Jet Li, the next fucking day, practicing his moves, and his homeboy's doing his homework like he learned jack shit. And it cuts to him as an adult. And the first scene is him like playing with his daughter, and you're like, oh, that's cool. And she's basically like, hey, I got this cool purse. And he's like, can I have it? And she's like, only if you win, bitch. And he's like, okay, you got it, I think you promised. And they lock it up. She's all excited, and he's all fucking pumped, and he goes to his fight, and he looks up, oh, and it's the same dude that kicked his ass when he was a little kid. And he was like, oh, hell yeah, vengeance is mine. They fight. Jet Li wins. At this point, he's on like a winning streak, so he's just like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm awesome. He goes to this bar, or restaurant rather. His friend from previous time, he owns the restaurant, and they drink a bunch. And his friend comes over and he's like, hey man, have fun, but these drinks are expensive. And he's like, yeah man, I'll take care of it. And he's like, okay. These two just bulldoze in, and they're like, we want to be your students because we saw you kick that dude's ass. And he's like, hell yeah, drinks for everybody in the restaurant. And his friend's like, what the fuck, I guess? And this dude walks over and he's like, yeah, it's cool, man, but you didn't fight my godfather, so. And for some reason, Jet Li's like, oh shit, he's right. I didn't fight his godfather. I'm gonna fight this dude. So after Jet Li's done having a great time, Jet Li and his friend, they retire back to Jet Li's crib, drinking coffee. Jet Li's like, this is fucking gross. His friend is like, these Westerners are gonna take over soon, so gotta get used to it, cause they're coming. Jet Li's like, nah dog, we're good. China. Time passes, he's walking in the courtyard with all his pupils, and he's like, big dick, this guy. He sees the other guy, and he's like, big dick, also this guy. And Jet Li's like, my dick's bigger than yours. And the other guy's like, got a deeper voice and shit. And he's like, my dick's bigger than yours. Or whatever. Later that night, a bunch of his students come in and they're like, hey, the Godfather guy kicked one of your students' asses. And Jet Li's like, why is a master beating up on a disciple? That's disrespectful as junk. So Jet Li goes to the restaurant and he's like drinking a bunch of alcohol, getting kind of lit. He sends for the Godfather. The godson, who was talking mad shit, comes over and he's like, it's his birthday today, so maybe don't start shit. And Jet Li like puts him in a headlock with his fucking leg, which was awesome. But he's like, I don't answer to you. I'm like, damn, okay. The Godfather comes over and he's like, hey dude, I don't want to do this, it's my birthday, can you just like, and Jet Li like kicks the shit out of his godson and he's like, nah dog, you hurt my disciple, we're doing this is going to happen. Jet Li's friend runs over and he's like, hey, so like, you're gonna do this outside, right? And he's like, no dude, it's cool, I'll cover the expenses. And he's like, no you fucking won't. Like, it's been proven that you won't, first of all. Second of all, this is dumb. Third of all, go outside. And Jet Li's like, you don't want to be my friend anymore? And he's like, no, I do, but just go outside. And Jet Li's like, you don't want to be my friend anymore. I get it. Everybody get out. And the dude's like, this is my fucking whatever. Everybody just go. So they start fighting because bullshit movie. They destroy the fuck out of this dude's restaurant. Like, they break everything. Everything? Everything. Everything. So at the end of everything, Jet Li punches him so hard in the heart that he fucking dies. Oh, by the way, there's a whole bunch of scenes intercut of like the daughter like sitting at home, where's dad? And the mom's like, probably doesn't love you, go to bed. Then he walks out of the restaurant and all his disciples are there and they're like, hell yeah dude, you won. They go to an adjacent restaurant, which I'm surprised the restaurant was like, we're fucking closed, go away. But it's like 5 a.m, the sun's coming up now, he's leaving the bar and he's all topsy-turvy and whatever. He goes back to his homestead and he sees that his wife and daughter have been murdered. And he's like, oh my god, this sucks. He grabs a fucking sword and he goes to the godson's house. They're having a little ceremony. The godson stands up and he's like, yeah dude, I killed your family. What about it? And the Godfather's like wife and daughter are also there and they're like crying. Jet Li like goes to approach him and the son just like slits his own throat, dead. And Jet Li's like, well, what's even the point? He looks at the daughter and the wife and he's like, his disciples go up and they're like, hey man, quick update. So that guy that got beat up by the Godfather guy, he was talking mad shit. So the guy kicked his ass out of like honor and whatever. Don't know if that's relevant. Jet Li is like, fuck all of you guys suck, deuces. And he dips. He fucking kills 2 people, essentially ruins 2 other people's lives, and then just leaves town. He's like, you know what? I'm just gonna drown myself. No, Jet Li, no, don't do it. Do it, bitch. I don't give a fuck. You killed 2 people. The small little village of nice people like pick him up and they're like, oh, feed him and give him stuff. He's just like moping and shit. Jet Li not dead. Goes to his village, finds himself, goes back to his hometown, and he's like, I'm gonna bring it. But when he gets there, as aforementioned by his friend, what happened, Cooler David? The white man happened. Like all these white people came in from the west, farting on Chinese people, like, haha, you're stupid and you're small. He's like, I gotta win back China. He goes to his friend, the same friend who warned him about fighting and it being dangerous and bad, warned him about the West, whose restaurant he destroyed from the ground up to the top part. And he goes, hey man, been a long time. Would you give me money? And his friend's like, what? Why? And Jet Li's like, you know, for a fight. And his friend's like, no, dude, what are you are you serious? Have you learned nothing? And Jet Li's like, fuck that. I want to go to Shanghai and fuck people up, take back China and shit. And his friend's like, well, yeah, I guess you can have the money. And I'm like, what the? This guy is dumb. So Jet Li goes to Shanghai and fights this big ass dude named like Hercules or some shit. And fucks him up. So he wins, and then like later, the friend closes his restaurant, or rather sells it, so that he can fund this new project for Jet Li to unite all wushu. So they're not like Chinese on Chinese crime. All the other people are like, hey, stop fighting, let's be smart, do it politically. And he's like, fist fight. Like, didn't that get your wife and daughter killed? Bitch fight. So they decide to hold this big ass tournament to see whose nation is the best. And before the fight, this Japanese dude who's gonna be in the fight, he's like, hey man, I wanna have tea with you. You seem alright. Jet Li goes and gets tea with this dude. The Japanese dude's like, you're so fucking wise. Yeah. They start fighting, and it's awesome. They're pretty equally matched, but Jet Li seems to be the better competitor. Jet Li goes to his corner, and his friends are hyping him up. Biggest dick ever. And he's like, biggest dick ever. Takes a sip from his tea, fucking poison. Gets up there, he's wobbling around, coughs up black shit, and the Japanese dude's like, whoa. Time out. That's fucking gross. The restaurant friend is like, hey man, let's stop this fight and get you to the hospital ASAP because we could probably solve this. And Jelly's like, nah dog, I've been like exerting hella energy. The toxin's definitely in my blood now. I'ma die. Fuck it. Which I guess is true. So he decides to go up there and the Japanese dude's like, hey man, treasure your life. Jelly's like, bring it the fuck on, bitch. They start fighting. He's coughing up black shit all over the dude's fucking uniform. And Jelly does the same thing that he does to the Godfather guy, but he stops like right before he does it. Where he almost punches the dude's heart out. And the Japanese dude's like, holy shit, oh my god. And then Jelly falls to the ground. All the white people are like, hell yeah, dude, we won. The Japanese dude is like, wait! Picks up Jet Li, raises his hand, and he's like, this guy won. And everyone's like, Jet Li, Jet Li. But then he dies, Jet Li dies. And then the movie ends with like he died when he was 42, and it lives on to this day. Everybody wins! Oh, that is cold and gross. But I'm gonna drink it anyways, cause I got a fucking problem. I guess to sum everything up, for some reason this movie was like amazing to me when I was younger, but I rewatched it and I realized it wasn't that good. Now I kind of want to go back and like see like what else is out there that I used to be like super infatuated with that may hold up or may not. So yeah, this video is brought to you in part by knee scratching and burp louding. Thanks. The Godfather. Not. About this. So I'm not like. Why would they do that? I get it. I'm just like. All the.
I love China.
I